have them. Two is better than one. And so to start, I know some of you complained about, or not complained, but mentioned tight hip flexors, and I have the same thing. So we'll start in a hip flexor release. So have your block. And with that block, you'll take it with you as you come down to your mat. And you'll slide under your hips, kind of just below the top of your sacrum, so just below your hip bones. But kind of a spot that works for you. So it's not too high up, just low enough that you're kind of getting a little bit of a tuck of the tailbone. And then so option one would be to start just with your knees bent. So if you have really tight hip flexors, psoas, iliopsoas, whatever you call it, stay like this. And then if you're a little less tight, or if it feels okay for you, you can extend the legs, but you might wait for halfway through, or you might just extend the one leg of the tighter side. Both legs might be too intense to start off, especially if it's quite tight. So staying in this bent knee position can be more of a subtle release. So you might not actually feel anything happening, but what it is doing is lengthening the psoas in a safe way, so that it will feel safe enough to release a little bit. And that's what you want. So you kind of find that placement of the block to where the lower back is exposed, and you're thinking about relaxing the lower back towards the ground. It likely will not reach the ground, but just thinking about that lengthening. And then be mindful of the shoulders. So if the shoulders have come up, tuck them under. And then find your breath. So you can play with taking your feet a little wider if that's more comfortable. And then as we're connecting with the body here, just taking up space on your mat. So you can take your arms wide, inviting in a bit of a chest opener too. Noticing where the feet are connecting with the mat. What do the feet feel like today? Is every toe touching the ground? So I often start class on the mat, just because it's been proven to be the best way to tap into the parasympathetic nervous system. So placing your body in space by actually connecting with the ground brings you back into your body and kind of out of your mind. We're all out of our mind, aren't we? And then finding your breath here. So as you inhale, feel the belly expand like you're filling up a balloon. As you exhale, feel the belly come back in. And sometimes if the psoas is tight enough, you will feel it as you're inhaling and exhaling in this position. You might just notice it. Now, if you're somebody who gets anxious being too still, you can always invite in a little bit of movement. So you can take your head from side to side while you're here. Some people enjoy stillness and some people do not like it. So you don't have to suffer through the stillness. You can add a little bit of movement, perhaps taking the ear to one side and to the other. We'll stay like this for a couple more minutes. If your knees are bent, you can see what it feels like to extend one leg or perhaps both legs. And as we go through class, as always, just listening to your body first. If something doesn't feel right today, just don't do it. Or if something feels a little bit off, try adjusting a little bit just for your body, seeing what little adjustments you can make to make it a little less uncomfortable. Now everybody taking the head to one side, pausing there, finding your breath. As that exhale comes in, take the head to the other side and pause. As your exhale comes in, bring the head back to center. If your knees are not bent, bend them. Bring your feet to the mat with the knees bent. Take your feet nice and wide on the mat, so perhaps just off the mat. Just gently, your bum is still on the block, but gently take your knees to one side and just see what that feels like. And then take them to the other side. So you're just kind of wiggling the knees from one side to the other. Your sit bones are on the block. Just a subtle movement here. We'll take the knees back to center. Now you may want to hold on to the block with your hands or kind of shimmy it up your back just a tiny bit. And we'll bring the knees into the chest. So I'm going to shimmy my hips down the block a little bit so that I stay on the block when the knees come to the chest. See what that feels like. Now see what it feels like to hold on to that right knee and extend that left leg out. And just slowly come down. Maybe the heel touches the ground. Maybe it doesn't. That's okay if it doesn't. Perhaps it just hangs in the air. Hold there for a moment. See if the shoulders are shimmying up and press them down away from the ears. While we're holding here, let's circle the ankle that's in the air. Now, if at any time the block is bothering you, you can remove it. If not, we're going to play with it for a little bit. Pointing and flexing that foot. Hopefully you can't hear my stomach gurgling. And then switch. So we'll gently bring that other knee in and gently extend the other leg out. Pausing here, and as you hold, just rotating that ankle that's in the air. And circling the other way, staying with your breath. Lots to think about. Holding, circling, breathing. Bring that ankle to stillness. Bring both knees in nice and slowly. Bring the knees towards the armpits. We're opening them up. Pausing here. Send your breath down to the groin, down to the inner thighs. Nice big inhale. Exhale. Gently press the knees back together. Now for a little bit of fun here, take the feet towards the ceiling. So if the block is wedged in the right position, it should be a little bit easier to bring the legs up. Check out your toes. See if you can spread your toes. Maybe some spread, some don't. And relax the foot. From here, take the legs open a little bit. With control, bring them shut. Perhaps they open a little bit wider with control. And close. See if you can do this slowly. Using all those stabilizing muscles. We'll do this a couple more times at your own pace. As you exhale, they close. Exhaling, engaging the core as they shut. Go for one more. Exhale to close. Nice strong core, and let the right heel drop down 2 feet or 1 foot. And bring it back up. Switch whenever you're ready. I've got my hand on my belly button. And as the leg drops, so we're continuing to alternate, as the leg drops, if you feel your belly pooching up or tenting up, don't drop the leg so low. So we're going to only drop it a little bit then, right before that pooching happens. So if we work with a tented tummy, we're training the muscles to stay in that kind of pooching position. If we work within the tummy staying flat or flattish, then we're training the muscles to stay in that position. One more time on each side. So I'm only dropping about a foot. Any lower than that, I start to tent. Using the exhale will help. Last one. Let's take the knees and give them a squeeze. And then point the toes to the ceiling again. Heel the point. Perhaps the feet come over the head. Perhaps they don't. Check them out. Maybe you can grab onto your toes. I can't, but maybe you can. And we're going to release this. So I'm going to bend the knees and place the feet on the ground. I'm going to press into my feet, lift my hips slightly, and lower or remove the block. Then lower the hips down nice and slowly. So we're going to wait a moment here until the spine feels somewhat normal again. I'm just going to wiggle my hips from side to side. I'm going to take the knees into the chest and give them a wiggle. Rocking from side to side. The lower back might feel a little bit tender. What we were doing in that position is lengthening the lower back. So it might feel a little strange. Just slowly rock from side to side. I'm going to place the arms out in the T, keep the knees in the air, shins parallel to the ceiling, and just gently drop the knees over about a foot to one side or a few inches. Exhale, bring them back to center. Let's try the other side. So my arms are stabilizing. I'm not going too far because I don't want to tug on my lower back, but I'm working within my core's ability to bring the knees back. So maybe a few inches to one side, just the corner of your hip. Coming into that kind of an obnoxious exhale to really fire up the core. One more time on each side. We won't overdo it. Last one. I'm going to bring my feet to the ground and stretch the legs out, arms above the head. Nice big pencil stretch. Pointing the toes. Roll it onto your right side. Support the head and the hand. Extend that left. I'm going to bend the bottom knee just for a little more support. Extend the left leg out. The little left arm above the ear. As you exhale, bring it together. Inhale, stretch it away. Exhale, engage. You should hear your exhale as you lift. It's not about how high you lift the leg, just thinking about engaging the muscles of the leg. You could keep it in line with the body, or you could bring it a little higher. So whatever feels better for your body, not overdoing it. We'll go for two more. Nice big stretch. Exhale, engage. Warming up the shoulder. Last one. Holding the leg in the air, bring the arm out in front of you for support. Let's circle that leg at the top corner. Oof. Little circles. Oof. Circle the other way, leading with the heel or the toe, whichever way you're going. Staying with that breath. Ooh, let's give it a break. Bring the knee in towards the shoulder. Grab onto the big toe and hold. Going to release the knee back down, and this time just circling the shoulder. So circling the arm that's in the air. Nice big circle if it's okay for your shoulder. Smaller circle if the shoulder's feeling tender. Nice and slow. Slower is better. Let's alternate the direction. One more big circle, taking your time, especially at any part where you feel a little bit of tugging. Nice. And let's switch sides. So I'm going to have to do a little switcheroo. I guess we all are with the camera in one spot. So finding that long side body position. I'm going to bend my bottom leg a little for support. I've got my head in my hand for more support. Pointing out through the toe. You can even send it back slightly if you have a sore hip flexor. So you can press the hip back a little bit. Arm above the ear. Exhale, engage. Start small. See how it feels to lift the leg at first. And then work your way into it. You can lay your head down too if it's awkward to have it in the hand. Exhaling to lift, reaching out through the heel. Perhaps working your way to get a little bit higher each time. I love looking at those squares. Every once in a while I see a toe in the air. That's all I get. One more. But having two little kids, I'm used to talking to myself. Bring the leg in the air. I know I'm not. Big circles. Holding it at the top. Oh. Circles in the corner. Circling one direction. And when it feels right, switch the direction. Again, if it's too much, just little circles. Draw tiny little circles. Believe it or not, this is a core exercise. It feels like a leg exercise, but it's a core stabilizing exercise. Ooh, let's do one more. Let's give the hip flexor a break. Bring the knee in towards the body. Grab onto something, the knee, the ankle, the toe. Hold it here. And then release that. And you can lay your arm or your head down and get into the shoulder. You can start with a smaller circle. Whatever you do, go slow so we're not jamming up the shoulder. See what it feels like to reach out through those fingertips. Pay special attention to any part where you feel a little tension or tugging and go a little bit slower in those areas. When it feels right, switching direction. Oof, last one. And we'll bring it down to the mat. Find yourself on your stomach. Oh, taking your time. Extend the legs out behind you. Preparing for that baby cobra position. So the hands are under the shoulders. Fingers are spread nice and wide. Gazing down at your mat. Reach out through the crown of the head. So you're reaching forward with the head and back with the toes. Now relax the bum. Okay, so it's all spine. Inhale, gently press into the mat. Shoulders come down the spine. Just gazing at the top of your mat. Exhale, lower back down. We're going to do this 2 more times. Whenever your inhale comes, come back into it. Shoulders shrug down. Pressing the tops of the feet in the mat. Now relax the bum. Reach forward with the crown of the head. Nice long neck. Hold for a moment. Exhale, release. Nice and slow. Last one. Shoulders down. Reach forward with the crown of the head. Gaze down at your mat. Toes are reaching back. See if you can relax your bum. All in the spine. And lower back down. I'm going to take the arms out in a funny M position. So the hands are under the elbows. So the elbows are pointing up to the ceiling. Fingers are tented. So just the fingertips are on the ground off your mat. And then the baby cobra again, this time pressing into those tented fingers, pointing those elbows up to the ceiling. And just staring down at your mat, holding here for a moment. If you'd like to add on from here, just gently gazing at your right elbow. And if you'd like to continue to add on, gaze over to your left elbow. Bring your head back to center. Exhale, lower down, press into the mat and find your child's pose. So send those hips back into whatever position you find them in. Arms are stretched out in front of you. Inhale, come up to tabletop position and bring it back to child's pose. Or just rocking back and forth a couple times just to get into the lower back and the hips. So at your own pace, come back to tabletop, strong shoulders, and then back to child's pose. Rocking the vertebrae into position. Last time. Adding a little weight to the wrists. Okay, flowing all the way forward. So shoulders over hands. Wrap those elbows nice and tight. Shoulders are strong. And then exhale, lower down. So your chest is going to meet the mat eventually. Elbows bend. Inhale for cobra. Exhale, let's find tabletop position. Hands and knee. Fingers are spread nice and wide. Press into those shoulders. Inhale, cat and cow. So we're going to drop the belly, tailbone towards the ceiling, gazing forward. As you exhale, you're going to tuck the tailbone under. Press the shoulders to the ceiling and relax the head. And just flowing here at your own pace with your own breath. Perhaps closing your eyes and just feeling it in your body, not thinking about how it's supposed to look or feel. We'll do one more round, cat and cow. And you're in your cow pose, looking over to your right hip. And then over to your left hip, dropping that shoulder, kind of reaching the hip towards the eyesight. Come back to center, take the knees wide. Bring your left hand to the middle, right hand reaches up. Let the hips move with you as you come for a little twist in the thoracic spine and switch. Switch at your own pace. Listen to your shoulders. If the straight arm is too much, just bend the elbow. Switching sides one more time on each side at your own pace. Bring it back to center and find your downward facing dog whenever you're ready. Once you get there, pedaling out the dog, keeping those knees nice and bent, not trying to make any position here, just feeling your body stretching out behind each leg. Fingers are spread wide. See what it feels like to come to stillness with the legs, a bit of a bend to the knee, and lift the right leg up to the ceiling, towards the ceiling. Oof, drop that leg and see what it feels like to stretch the other leg now out to the ceiling. Bend both knees, gaze forward to the top of the mat and step to the top. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees deeply, reach to the top. Exhale, hands down through center. Come into a little bit of a chair position. So send the bum back, bend the knees. Right, let's shift the weight into the left leg and tap the right toe out to the right 5 times. Tap. And back. See if you can do this slowly. Sit into that heel. Whew. One more. Inhale, lift it up, find your tippy toes. Exhale, sit back into that chair. So send the bum back first, then bend the knees. Shift the weight into the right leg. Tap it out 5 times. So this can be a little teeny tap or a big tap. Drop the shoulder. Ooh, 2 more, I think, or 1 more. Okay, go for 1 more. Ooh. Inhale, reach it up, tippy toes. Release the heels down, exhale, dive forward, chest comes forward. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, send your right leg back, find your low lunge position. Find your blocks on either side. I forgot to say, you have them at the top of the mat. Hopefully they're there for you. And then just have that knee right over the ankle. So if it's not, if the knee's coming past, just scooch those toes. Yeah, relax into those blocks if you can. Easier said than done. And then see if you can relax in the groin. Shoulders forward. Chin is level to the ground. Holding for a breath. The back foot can be tucked or untucked. From here, I'm going to start to straighten out the front leg. I'm going to send the hips back. So I'm just finding that hamstring stretch. You may like to push the heel forward a little bit and use these blocks. Whew. See if you can relax that kneecap. And if your knees are bony like mine, it can be nice to sometimes have a folded up towel on your mat or two mats, like a mat going across the middle for double cushioning. We're going to hold here for one more breath. I'm going to slide this foot back into the lunge position. I'm going to remove the blocks and come into tabletop. And exhale, lower down whenever you're ready. Inhale, find your cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. See what it feels like to bring the left leg to the ceiling this time. And switch. Right leg to the ceiling. Gaze forward, bend the knees, walk or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees deeply, reach up. Exhale, hands down through center. Inhale, reach up to tippy toes. Exhale, come down to the heels, send the bum back, come into chair. Shift the weight into the left foot, right leg taps out 5 times. Last one. Bring it all the way up, tippy toes. Exhale, sit back into your chair. I may have rushed that. Bring it back into your right leg this time. Left leg taps out. So it'd be 5 times, 3 times. Work up to your energy level today. I definitely rushed that last one. 2 more. Oi, last one. Reach it up. Shake it out. Exhale, dive forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. This time the left leg comes back for low lunge. So take your time, find your setup, use your blocks. Nice. The back leg's on a bit of an angle for extra stretch, but if you're too tight, then maybe it's not on an angle. So just finding what works for you in this low lunge position. We'll hold for a couple breaths, see if you can relax the shoulders and really use those blocks. We're going to start to send the hips back and straighten out the front leg. Walk the blocks back for more support. You can point the toes. You can stay here. Level 2, you might press the heel forward a little bit in a supported split pose. So option 1 is here, a little bit of a bent knee. Option 2 is slide the heel forward. Stay with that breath. When you're ready, come back into that lunge. And then bring that, release the blocks, bring the foot back. Tabletop position. Exhale, lower down. Inhale for cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. I'm going to play one more time here in this down dog. This time lift the right leg up to the ceiling. Bend the knee and reach the heel over to your left sit bone. So you're reaching your right heel over to the left. So you're opening up that knee. Now you're going to look left and see if you can see your toes. Like twister. Hold for one more breath. And then gently place that foot back down. We'll try this on the other side. You'll lift the left foot up. Bend the knee. Heel goes over to the right. I'm looking over to the right to see if I can see my toes. Ta-da! So bring the foot back down to center. Bend the knees. Gaze forward. Step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring the hands down through center. Bend into those knees. We're going to step the legs open. Goddess position. Bend it down and up. We'll go for 5 of these. You can take your legs as wide as you can. Press those knees back. You can get a good groin stretch in there. And 2 more. Last one. Gonna hold it at the bottom. Shift the weight over to the right. And when you're ready, you're gonna press up into a 3-point star. So yeah. Try it on the other side. Send it over. Point it up. One more time on each side. Just have fun with it. Last one. Bring it back down. Find that squat. Bring the arms together. Going for 5. This is the last powerful thing we're doing. And then we're going to bring it back into a stretch. With 2 more. You can do it. Last one. Sitting up nice and tall, not leaning forward. Bring the hands to the knees, relax into it. One shoulder in. Other shoulder in. Let's take it right down to the mat. However you need to get there. Okay. Sitting up nice and tall here, and you have blocks too. So if your hips are quite tight like mine, you can sit on your block to help relax the hips a little bit. We're going to drop the right ear to the right shoulder, and we're just going to catch our breath here. Relax those shoulders down. So if you have tight hip flexors, which I know many of us do, it's just the way we live. We run and we sit. It's always good to have your hips elevated when you're in a seated position so that you don't have to hold your legs up. Often our hip flexors stay engaged when we're sitting on the ground because our hips are too tight, so our knees end up here. So if you get taller than your knees, the hips get happy. Bring the head down and around. And sometimes one little block isn't enough. A bolster or a couch cushion might be better. That's a really filled cushion. You can always bring that to your practice for seated position, just to help the hip flexors relax. Breathing here. Bring the head down and around to the other side, nice and slowly, enjoying every little spot. With the right ear back of the right shoulder, take the chin down. As you breathe here, just actively pressing your shoulders down and away. We'll do this on the other side, so gently bringing the head down and around in your own time. Once the left ear is over the left shoulder, just bringing the chin down. Holding for a couple of breaths here. Gently bring the chin back to center. Bring the head back to neutral position, and then gently bring the chin towards the ceiling. So whatever's comfortable, it can be a vulnerable position for many people, but just stretching out the front of the neck in any way that feels comfortable for you. And then once you've found that position, jetting the chin forward. So kind of stretching out the front of the neck. And then relaxing that back to neutral. We'll grab onto that strap. Hopefully you can reach it. So sitting on something if you have tight hips. And then we'll take the strap in our hands. And we're going to take it behind the head, but we're not popping the shoulders in to get there. Just relax on the strap or whatever you're using to bring it back. Noticing all those little stretchy parts and going nice and slow through those. Slowly all the way down and gently bring it back up. See if you can keep your ribs tucked under or tucked in. Just the arms are moving. We'll do this one more time behind. Loosening up as much as you need to, so not forcing anything. Just enough tension where you feel a little bit of stretch down the arms. Slowly bringing it back to top. Once you get up to the top, gently pulling one strap, or one side of the strap down. So just relaxing one arm down. And stretching in the armpit. And switching sides. We'll do this one more time on each side. It doesn't have to be as tight as it can be. I've got a really loose strap here. Last one. I'm going to release the strap and just take the right arm across the body. I'm just going to press behind the right arm slightly and bend the elbow. And switch sides. I'm going to take the left arm across and just gently add a little bit of pressure. Still breathing. Nice. Just take the arms open and back. Cross to each shoulder. Press them down. Notice which elbow is underneath, and we're going to do the opposite. Open and closed. This time the other elbow comes down, and then press them down. Next, and just shake out the wrists and the fingers. We're going to come down to the mat with our strap. come down with bent knees onto your back, and you've got your strap in your hand, or whatever you're using today. Let's start with the left foot today. And give the right too much attention. Start with the left, and we're going to place the strap around the ball of the foot. And then you're going to bring your hands down to the end of the strap so that your elbows hopefully relax on the ground, so the arms aren't doing too much work. Then you're going to relax the leg into the strap. So we're not trying to get as tight of a stretch as we can. We're trying to find some relaxation in the stretch so the muscles feel safe enough to relax and stretch. So think about allowing that leg to become nice and heavy. Take a moment to check in with the neck. Is your chin jutting into the ceiling? See if you can kind of tuck it up slightly so your neck is long in the back. Now while we're here, we'll play a little bit. So let's rotate the ankle inward so that you can see the inside of your foot. So you're pressing out through the baby toe edge. See how that feels. Hold that for a breath. See if you can relax the leg in this position. Staying in this position, see what it feels like to bring the leg across the body a couple of inches. You may need to move the other leg out of the way, laying it flat on the ground. I'm going to keep going across the body here because that feels good for me. If it doesn't feel good for you, stay where you are. I'm going to bring the strap in with my right hand, both straps in my right hand. I'm going to keep going across the body here until I find a place where I want to hold. That place where you find a bit of tension, but it's not unbearable. Hold there for a few breaths. If you're looking for more tension, think about bringing the leg closer to the upper body. I'm going to start to bring it back to center. I'm going to put the ankle in a neutral position. So I'm just pressing up with the ball of the foot regularly here. And then I'm going to take the leg open. So I'm going to take it open to the left leg open to the left. If you're doing your right leg, open to the right. So I'm holding the strap wherever I need to get into that position. You can always bend the knee if you need to. Try to keep the hips level on the ground. Holding here. We're going to bring it back to center. For one more hamstring stretch, maybe tighten up on the strap, maybe not. So find what feels good for your body. Holding for 2 more breaths here. And then we're going to switch legs. So I'm just going to bring my other foot into the strap and switch. Do a little switcheroo. I'm going to have my bent knee and foot on the ground to start for a little more support. Relaxing the arms down the strap if you can, long enough. And then relaxing the leg. So my leg is not doing any work. And if that means the leg is down close to the ground, that's okay. Whatever it takes to lengthen the back of the leg. And I'm going to try the ankle rotation here. So I'm going to rotate the ankle inward so I can see the inner arch of my foot, and I'm pressing out through the baby toe edge. Just adding a little stretch to the outer edge. I'm going to see what it feels like to take the leg over to the left or across the body. I just stop whenever I feel enough tension that I want to hold and breathe. You can extend the other leg long just to get it out of the way, or you can keep it bent. Holding wherever you can hold for a couple of breaths. When you're ready, bringing it back to center, bringing the ankle back to neutral, and then take it open. Whatever open means for you. You can have a bent knee or a straight leg, somewhere in the middle. Sometimes you get lucky and you come in contact with a couch or something or a wall and you just rest it on that. When I take in-person yoga classes, I go to the back of the room and I use the wall. One more breath here. And we'll take it back to center. Holding in center one more time, maybe tightening up on the strap if you feel like you've got a little bit of extra stretch. And then we'll release that leg. And we'll come into your final position. And if you want to end the same way we started in that psoas stretch, you can. You can just bring that block in, slide it under your hips, or come into shavasana however you like. So however you want to do your final position. I'm going to bring the block back in because when else am I going to do this? I'm just going to slide it under my hips and find that stretch. I know for me, my right side is jammed up, so I'm just going to extend my right leg. But whenever you're ready, coming into your final pose, if shavasana can be taken however you're most comfortable. Some people don't feel safe lying on the ground and they prefer to be seated. And if that's you, that is perfectly fine. If you are on the ground, just tucking those shoulders under. Take up space, take the arms wide. All the places where your body can connect with the ground. Perhaps closing your eyes if it feels safe for you to do so. Just taking soft breaths here, just letting go of that breath control. Maybe stretching out the face, scrunching it up, or opening up the jaw, just wiggling out the face a little bit. And then softening around the eyes. Allow the shoulders to become nice and heavy, fully supported. Allow the belly to soften and relax. Hips feel nice and heavy. Just noticing the energy moving around the body. While you're here in the stillness for a couple more minutes, can you think about something you're grateful for today? If you're comfortable doing so, telling yourself one thing you like about yourself or one thing you're proud of. Really allowing yourself to take that in. Gently wiggling the fingers and toes, bringing in a little bit of life, that light energy. If you have the block under you, just bending the knees and taking it away. Taking the knees into the chest, giving yourself a little hug, holding it in. And then allowing the knees to fall to one side. Resting the head on the arm. Staying here for one more breath. A nice big breath here in through the nose. Energizing breath. Exhale, sigh it out. We'll try that one more time. Inhale, breathing it in. Exhale, really sighing it out. Slowly bringing yourself up to seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. Giving the shoulders a little wiggle. And then closing the practice all together, bringing the arms up. Exhale, draw them down through center, pressing between the eyebrows, give them a little circle massage. And just bowing forward towards yourself. Seeing if you can hold on to this calmness for the rest of today. And closing our practice.